Okay, folks, the next section is themes for the week here in TrampCast 24. And I've got no idea. I need my notes because we're talking about not this week just gone, the one before. And I haven't got a Scoobies. So let's just list them first and we'll come back and discuss them after. So, theme 1 is the wind, weather and destruction. Remember, I was in the old tent at this point. Wasn't going to survive much longer than that. Well, the tent wasn't going to survive much longer. The tent was not going to survive. YouTube popularity. Me and my graphs. The aftermath of Spanish couple in Spain and the interview, as I refer to it. The interview. Guys, before that interview, I was on 425 or 28 subscribers. That number just, we shot through 500, we shot through 550, shot through 600, onwards and onwards. All from that. And it cascades beyond that, because some of the people who saw that have channels of their own or large followings on Twitter, and have then hit the like and subscribe and follow and retweet buttons and things, and so it's a cascade from that. Tremendous. But that's one of the themes, the YouTube popularity, the YouTube subscribers, but not just the subscribers, the generosity, the PayPal donations that came in. 3 people, get this, 3 people in 1 week offered to buy me a new tent. They didn't know it was already in process. I didn't know it was already in process. We'll get to it. Don't rush me. Okay. Wishlisting is what I call this next one. Wishlisting. When people ask you an open-ended question, such as, what do you need? And you don't know their budget. Are they talking about a fiver? A tenner? 50 euros or pounds or dollars? 100? You don't know what their target budget is. But also you start thinking about, what could I do with? What would be like an ideal? I think I talked previously about EcoFlow Delta and Bluetti and Jackery. These portable power stations basically give you a plug socket in the middle of a field, as long as you've got a solar panel. And then you could power dream devices. Remember, Spain, my tent, the old tent, got above 50 degrees Celsius, which was, I've done this calculation before, haven't I? Double it and knock off 10% is 90 and add 32. 122 degrees. Someone check that for me. 50 degrees Celsius and whatever number I just said, 122 did I say? That'll be more or less right. So it's going to get hot in summer. In a month from now, after Easter, it gets hot. Something like a portable camping fridge or an electric cooler box. Whether it runs off 12 volts or off 220, whatever. But these Jackeries or Bluettis or an EcoFlow. So I start, wish listing. What would be an ideal? What would be a great thing to have? But also smaller scale stuff. You see, I've done cookery videos, but there are some basics. I don't have a grater. I don't have a veg peeler. The ones like a razor blade. All sorts of these clever little choppery gizmos that chop things, and that either could be powered. You get whisks and things now that could be powered by USB. Although I'm not above the old 2-bladed, the two, I don't know what you call them, those sets of blades, like a whisk, but 2 of them, and the blades intermingle. The manual whisk, the ones. I haven't got all of these. All of these things are. Jasper, EcoFlow do one that's very quiet, will make ice cubes in 12 minutes from scratch, and is getting rave reviews. But this costs an absolute fucking fortune. $900, which probably going to mean €900 and £900 because they don't bother with the conversion rates. They just charge the same number all around the world. But I'm hoping I'm not going to be running off and buying any of that. What I want to do is start reviewing some products. Start smaller, review smaller products, and over time, when you've done a few, people start offering you products to review. And eventually, I'd like to build up and get a $900 EcoFlow Glacier, it's called. But I would start off with a cooler box that takes power. Yeah, right. I'm not going to be buying. There's no way on it. I'm a tramp living in a field. I'm not buying. You also need the $1,000 the power station, the box, you know, solar generator. Some call them solar power station. Different words, but you need one of those. Can you do a crowd for a full set of EcoFlow stuff? No, I don't think that would work. Nice idea, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I could I gotta be careful because there's another guy called Hobo Tech out there, a bloke called Tom, who's already kind of cornered that. But he's in an RV, or was for many years, doing that whole van life thing, and he's got loads of these solar generators. He's got more than he knows what to do with. He ends up giving them away. Everybody does who gets into that game, because you start getting bombarded by every new model from every company, because they just want the nice review and they'll let you keep the thing afterwards. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Wish listing, I call this process of thinking up ideal products and things. I want to start small, and with the permission of you guys who donated, especially the guys who've already given me money, because it'll be your money that I'm putting in this direction. I want to start by buying a few €1, €2, €3 items, knickknacks, little bits and pieces, maybe from Temu, maybe from Amazon or something, if I can find a way of making the purchase. Amazon don't take PayPal, which is why I ended up with Temu in the first place. But I would probably start with kitchen gadgets and things, but probably over time build up. That's my thought process. But this is what one of the themes of the week. I'm telling you too much about it now. I'm just supposed to be telling you the themes, not the details. We'll get back to it. Don't rush me. Okay, I told you I was just going to list the themes and then come back to the whys, and we've already covered the wish listing process. Another topic: mice. The theme for the week: mice. This is for the week before, not this week just gone, but the one before. Although it was early in this week as well. Mice and rats, but in particular, it was mice this time, because the little buggers were running around my bedroom. I can't tell you, they're so fast, the little blighters. They're so fast, I can't tell you whether this was one mouse that was doing loops of the bedroom, or whether it was three all coming in. Manifesting. That's a little bit too woo-woo for me, but that kind of thing, yeah. If you start wishing for things and making it happen, again, if it works, it means we're in a simulation, and that somehow there's a feedback loop between us and the program running the simulation. You go back to Elon and all of his talk on simulations, and others, but do we live in a simulation, guys? Is God just the global operating daemon? Basically the operating system running the simulation, the GOD. Or Huawei, if you want to go for the tetragrammaton. There's a word. There is a word, guys. Go look that one up. Tetragrammaton. I think I've got the R's in the right place. That's the 4 letters that's supposedly the name of him upstairs. Huawei, if you want to pronounce it out loud. Knowing their name's supposed to give you power, isn't it? Or is that just leprechauns or elves or something? I've gone woo-woo again, guys. I've gone all woo. Don't get me started. Science. I'm science. I'm not all woo-woo. I'm not. Okay. Mice in the bedroom. Was it one mouse doing laps, or was it 3 mice? 3? I got it wrong. That's the lights, isn't it? 4 lights. 3 mice. Especially if they're blind. 3 blind mice See how they run. I don't sing. As you will know if you saw the video where I sang my Tina song. I got a girl named Tina. Have you seen her? Have you seen her? The girl named Tina. Tina. I have seen her. There she is. Can you see her? Hold on. Somewhere. I've got to be careful because you're tethered. Where? I don't know if you can see her there. There she is, look. Yeah, that's my girl. Lying directly on top of the bloody solar box, the battery box. Obviously, if there's a way to do it wrong, my girl will find it. I've just lost a pen. Oh, there it is. Sorry folks, you're resting on top. Today you're resting on top of a laundry bin. And a chopping board come bed tray. Don't ask. Thank you, Karen. Okay, folks. Themes for the week. Let's circle back to them and why they're the themes of the week. Wind, weather, destruction. I mentioned about the tent. The old tent. The tent that is no more. We celebrated the passing of the tent. I don't know if anybody saw the videos. Basically, there was one video where I was saying goodbye to the tent. And I thought we might be getting rid of it that day, but the winds were too strong. Or the winds were let me say this correctly. The winds had been strong and were forecast to be strong, and then they dropped, and I regretted not getting on with it that day. And then Tuesday, the forecast said that the winds were going to be low, and we made a start, and the winds picked up, but they were forecast to drop off later. But the reason that the wind is a focus, that was this week. I'm not supposed to be talking about this week. We're going back to the week before. Really strong winds, guys, really strong. And the tent was getting blown sideways. And I was getting rips appearing in places that had not previously had rips. And rips that had previously had rips became big bloody tears. Whole panels from the side of the tent were gone. Again, this is this week rather than the one we're talking about. But it turns out my bed was all that was holding the tent up. If you've seen the video where I was taking it down, I dismantled my bed, which was piles of bricks, beams across, and then planks across the beams with the mattresses or heavy mattresses on, 2 mattresses, double beds, 2 double mattresses. When I took that down, when I dismantled it, that entire side of the tent just collapsed inwards. My bed was literally all that was holding the thing up, and I didn't know. Although in the wind I had heard some horrendous cracking and creaking and what sounded like snapping, but I could never trace the damage until I took the bed away. But again, that's this week, not that. Strong winds, damage to the tent. It really felt like it wasn't going to last. The tarpaulin that was over the top looked like it was about to split in half. The tears in the tarp were running. We already had a metre gap. The original split in the tent that ran end to end had separated and become a metre wide. It didn't have long left, guys. It didn't have long left. And as it turns out, you'll have to wait till next week. It's a good job we did what we did when we did. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. So that's why wind and destruction were in the themes. YouTube popularity I've kind of covered. People's generosity, though, you know, I know we've done the thank yous, but people out there, and you know, here, the generosity, people who can come to the camp and bring me food, fruit and vegetables, money, fishing rods. Patrick, I'm on it, my friend, I'm on it. I got 2 rods, so me and Malado, me and the other guy in the field, one day, probably this week, weather dependent and other factors, we'll probably have a bash. I don't know if we'll record it because we're going to embarrass ourselves. What better reason to record it? That's an emoji that I can't see what that is, my friend. I'll have a look back later. But gone fishing will be a sign. I'll probably do a sign and put it on the tent at some point. Yeah, that'll wait till next week again or something else. Where am I? Wishlisting, I went off the deep end. I've already told you all about that. And the mice running around. Oh, a fishing emoji. Okay, my friend. So that, I think that brings us to a close. We've covered all of the themes for the week. We listed them and I talked at too much length about some of them. Okay, that brings us to the, one more theme for the week. One more, I almost overlooked it. An incident. I've gone on record previously of saying how lucky I've been that we've had no thievery from the camp. I've not had any, in all my time being homeless, I've not had anything stolen. Once upon a time I thought a clock had gone missing, but it turns out it'd kind of been knocked over and been buried in the ground when it rained. Don't ask. I found it one day, months later. But I've had nothing stolen. Very few people actually walk through the camp. Considering I'm just packed a tent in a field that has basically a dry riverbed from floods running through the middle of it, which looks like a path. People use this field and the one opposite for exercising their dogs. Still happens occasionally. A dog will run through the middle of the camp and will go wild. Put a hole in the side of my tent, chasing after the one that's after the dog that's outside. All sorts of things happen. But we don't often get people walking through. A few weeks ago we had 3 people walk through the field. It's kind of sideways from the cliff tops, cutting through, trying to get back to the road at 3 o'clock in the morning. Probably drunk or on a herbal extract. But not often. But in this week in question, we had a guy walk through the middle of the camp somewhere around midnight. And obviously Tina was concerned. She went after him, I went after the dog, and she kind of caught him just on the little road here on the track. And, the dog's snapping at him, but not biting him or anything. And he was kind of all right. He was confident around dogs and started to pet her and what have you. But he got talking, and I tried talking with not much understanding because my Spanish is not great, and he was speaking rapidly as they do. And then I start to walk back into camp and bring the dog. And the bugger starts saying to me, "Sexo." I'm like, obviously I hear the beginning of that word and I'm thinking, no entiendo, amigo. Sexo. And he starts walking into the camp. And he gets close to me, turns around, drops his keks and puts his hand behind and tries to grab my tackle. Yeah, no, don't swing that way. But it coined the phrase. Clearly he's a hobosexual. Boom. Again. Yeah. No, it was a little bit frightening because we were alone in a field in the middle of the night and someone... I gave him a little bit of a kick in the back and moved him along and a little bit of a tap on the head. And invited him to make his way and not come back. Offered him fatality if he did choose to come back in this direction. Yeah, I was, to be honest, I was a little bit frightened because, who is he? What is he? How mental is he? Does he have a knife or a whatever? He'd been passed earlier in the day, and there'd been a little bit of with the dog, and he was kind of stood on the road shouting hello, all that. But yeah, so like I said, a bit of an incident, but I shouldn't have given you all those details. Those details should have... Yeah, I think he did. Or me to do him from the way he was dropping his pants. But yeah. I don't swing that way. Got a lot of attention from guys who do over the years. But I told him not to come back, and it's been over a week now. This is from the week before last. So I think we're in the clear. It's just funny that he'd hung around twice that day and they'd walked literally right past the tent. And I had the thought that he was actually scoping it out for robbing. The way that he'd stood and shouted hello and we'd been in and the dog had gone out the first time through the day, I figured that if he'd not got an answer, he might have you know, rooted around, looked for stuff. We haven't got much here, you know. There's a bit of food. I've got a phone and a tablet and solar panels and a battery, but that's about it. Nothing much. Sorry guys, dry mouth. If you're playing at home, drink. That includes you, Stitch. So yeah, that was the last of my themes really. I told you all about it really now, so we can kind of skip it when we get to it for real, folks. If you've joined recently, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider it. You don't have to, just consider it. And if you haven't subscribed, why not? It's free. I borrowed that one from Trevor Kunt, MC, Military Cross, goddamn war hero. Shouldn't be stealing his little gimmicky phrases, but I'm a sponge for knowledge, folks. I'll probably adapt it over time, but you know. Oh, these glasses are doing my eyes in. There's only the bottom part here that's properly in focus. The rest's for looking away. They're not mine, they're new. And if you give me a second, I'm going to see. Did you see that post? I shouldn't. God. I don't know what I should say. I don't know what I should say. Should I mention it or should I not? Should I? Guys, go look up some photos of Ernest Hemingway. Because when I was shown the picture, I had to think for a second, when did I have that picture taken? I was literally looking at it. I did a post in the YouTube community as well. Go look at that after if you can't find the right image. But there's 2 or 3 photos of him, and he looks like that. It was uncanny. You see that? I can actually read you now. The light and these glasses maybe, because these are sunglasses as well, which probably wasn't helping with the darkness. I should have thought about that. Apologies, folks. Apologies. Sometimes I'm a little bit slow on the uptake. I blame Karen. She was badgering me to wear sunglasses. It's your fault, Karen, if you're out there, and I don't know if you are. Are you here? Oh, you're here. Hello. Hello, Karen. It's your fault. Bloody sunglasses. I'm looking at my screen wondering why it's all too dark and I can't see bugger all. It is flaring in and out now though as I move a bit, isn't it? It's probably been doing that all along. I'll try and work something out, guys. I'll try and work something out. I don't really need... I need like the weakest strength going, and you can pick them up for like €2 or €3 in the Chino bazaars. And people donate them, and I find them. I found 2 pairs of sunglasses in one day once here in this field. And one time I found a pair inside my tent. Get that? How'd that happen? Because they weren't mine. Weird. Like I said, I've had no problems with thievery, but people leave shit here. Sunglasses. I don't know. And Karen donates pairs. If you've seen the photograph of me with a really big set, even bigger than Tom Cruise's 1980s Top Gun pair, bigger than pilot specs, more like Deirdre off Coronation Street, or Dennis, the snooker player that won the world championship with these really big ones. What was his name? Can't remember. I'm getting old, folks. I'm getting old. A bloke called Dennis won the world snooker, and he had these really huge. He'd had them especially made because they didn't come down. They started here as normal, and they went up, so that when he was down on the snooker table looking, he could still see the far end of the table, because a bit of full-size snooker table is like a football field. What was it, 12 feet by 6 feet, isn't it? 12 feet. Let me convert for you Europeans. 4 meters by 2 meters, roughly. Dennis Taylor, thank you, Miami Rose. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Okay, folks. Okay. Sidelines, tangents from tangents. the incident. Okay. We are 1 hour and 7 minutes in. Shall we begin? Join me on Sundays for TrampCast. It's the weekly look at the successes, the failures, the happenings in my life as a tramp, a homeless guy, a hobo, living in Torrevieja in Spain. It's at 5 o'clock Spanish time, Central European time. It's at 4 p.m. GMT, UK time. And 10 a.m. US Central time. Love to see you there, folks. Okay. Delta Mike, out.